Hello again. Well, I must admit, I've got absolutely nothing planned for this vlog. My only mission today is to go into town to buy some tiling grout. So I do hope you'll join me on what promises to be a thrill-packed and exciting journey. Hopefully it won't be as boring as it sounds, because I'll be pointing out a few things of interest along the way. This is Raisin Lane, and it's worth pointing out that the block of flats across the road were built on the site of the old Lord Tennyson pub. Now, the pub was built in 1849 and it stood there until its demolition in 2015. It had a strong reputation for being haunted. For example, in 2006, a new licensee and several customers reported seeing a man dressed in black standing next to the pool table, where he promptly vanished. Now, the same apparition was seen on other occasions near the bar. As I mentioned, the Lord Tennyson was demolished in 2015 and the flats were built shortly afterwards. Did the ghost vanish with the pub, or has it taken up residence in its new surroundings? Now, over there you can see the top of the water tower on Westgate. It's a very interesting building, and it just so happens to be on my route. Here's a nice old car. The tax disc says 1967. Now, I get so nostalgic when I see these old cars from the 60s. They remind me so much of my childhood. This is the old bakery restaurant. Now, it closed back in 1954 because the owner's wife died. Unable to cope alone, the grieving widower simply upped sticks and left one night, and he was never seen again. But did he really leave? Over time, the building became derelict, but during renovations, the new owners were plagued by poltergeist activity, and the apparition of an old man with white hair and a long black robe was seen on several occasions. This impressive tower was built in 1911. It houses a steel tank that holds 300,000 gallons of water. It's 120 feet tall, and it was constructed as a result of the typhoid epidemic in Lincoln that started in 1904. 113 people died as a result of drinking contaminated water, and it was one of the biggest peacetime disasters to befall the city. Standing here, it certainly looks a hell of a lot bigger than 120 feet. An interesting little shop selling assorted bric-a-brac. No time to browse, however. I have to buy tiling grout. Now, across the road you can see Lincoln Castle. Now, I'm really looking forward to doing a vlog about the castle. My only problem is the time. There's so much to see there, so much history. It'd literally take me all day, but I'm hoping to get there very soon. Now, I'm going to take a slight detour because I want to show you one of my favourite buildings in Lincoln. This timber frame building dates from 1500 and it's known as the Crooked House, for reasons that will soon become apparent. Here at the bottom of Steep Hill is the Jew's House. Built in 1150, it is thought to be one of the oldest remaining dwelling houses in Europe. It was once owned by a wealthy Jewish family, hence the name. However, in the year 1255, a young boy named Hugh was murdered and his body was discovered in a well. Now, the boy was a Christian and the local Jewish community was blamed for his murder, and they were driven out of the city. Now, to this day, the facts surrounding the murder of Hugh, or Little St Hugh, are a little sketchy, but it was a perfect excuse to drive the Jews out of Lincoln, because pogroms were taking place all over Europe at this point in time. Now, the house was seized from its Jewish owners, and a man named Copen was tortured until he confessed to the murder. Now, it was said he was offered immunity from sentencing if he would come out and blame the Jewish community, which would have been the perfect excuse, would have legitimised the pogrom. He refused to do this, and as a result he was tied to a horse and he was dragged up steep hill to his death. Now, it's not surprising for a building with such a troubled history that there's been many reports of paranormal activity here over the years. Phantom voices and footsteps have been heard, and a poltergeist is said to move things around in the kitchen of the Jew's House restaurant. Sorry, madam, I've got tiling grout to buy. I better be quick, I've got about 5 minutes before the shops close. Too busy talking to you lot. Well, thanks for joining me on this impromptu vlog. It's brightened up an otherwise boring trip to the shops for me. I hope you'll join me next time for some more history and folklore. In the meantime, I have tiles to grout. See ya.